I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats.
This is what makes Marc Marquez worthy of being predicted as a candidate for the 2024 MotoGP World Champion. Facts revealed, Marc Marquez gave the signal to leave Ducati. Even though in the 5 series that have been running, the 31-year-old racer has never tasted victory. With Gresini Racing, Marquez immediately showed off in his first season and began to threaten the 2 top riders, Jorge Martin and Francesco Bagnaia. Amazingly, the baby alien achieved 2 podiums at Le Mans in France with his way. Start at the back, finish runner-up. Marquez started the sprint and main race from P13, but with the Desmosedici GP23, the Spaniard shot past the other racers easily. Now, after climbing the podium several times and being in 3rd place in the drivers' standings, the chance to win is open again for Marquez. The following are signs that Marquez will shine in his first season with Ducati Gresini Racing. What facts have been revealed that make Marc Marquez considered world champion? And these are the signs that Marc Marquez will continue to be successful in the next series? Keep watching the next information until the end so you don't get cut off. And here is the full news. Marc Marquez is a serious threat to MotoGP 2024 after back-to-back podiums at Le Mans in France last weekend. With Gresini Racing, Marquez immediately showed off in his first season and began to threaten the 2 top riders, Jorge Martin and Francesco Bagnaia. Amazingly, the baby alien achieved 2 podiums at Le Mans in France with his way. Start at the back, finish runner-up. Marquez started the sprint and main race from P13, but with the Desmosedici GP23, the Spaniard shot past the other racers easily. Now, after climbing the podium several times and being in 3rd place in the drivers' standings, the chance to win is open again for Marquez. The following are signs that Marquez will shine in his first season with Ducati Gresini Racing. In his adaptation phase in the opening series of this season, at the Lusail circuit, Qatar, he and the Ducati Desmosedici GP23 provided a welcome pace by finishing in the top 5 positions in both the sprint session and the main race. At the Algarve circuit, Portimao, Portugal, he got his first podium with Gresini Racing when he finished P2 in the sprint session. He had a happier face at that time compared to previous seasons with Repsol. This performance continued when he again secured P2 in the sprint at the Circuit of the Americas, Austin, before finally climbing the podium in the main race when he finished P2 at the Jerez circuit, Spain, on April 28. The second podium at Jerez was a long wait for Marquez after his last podium finish in the main race at the Motegi circuit, Japan on October 1 last year. Now winning is no longer a dream, so let's enjoy the return of speed and the podium, Marquez told the media. 1. Ducati, King of MotoGP. In the last 2 seasons, Ducati has dominated MotoGP by placing Pecco Bagnaia and Jorge Martin in the top position. Ducati, even with its satellite team, has had enough bloat against other factory teams such as Honda and Yamaha. Now, with the entry of Marquez, Ducati's dominance is even more obvious because the top 3 riders in the 2024 MotoGP standings are controlled by Ducati. 2. Marquez returns the excitement of MotoGP. Currently, Marquez began to sound the awakening alarm when he finished the race at the Le Mans circuit, France. In an iconic way, he demonstrated his action by overtaking his class when he pushed to the front position when starting from the back position which he had lost for approximately 5 years. In the main race, Marquez brought many smiles to the Gresini garage where his P2 marked the 1000th race that Gresini has completed so far with 220 podium finishes with 73 of them being wins. At the chicane, 2 sharp corners close together, at corners 9 and 10 of the last lap, he pocketed Bagnaia who was previously smoked by Jorge Martin who also had a special week at the Le Mans circuit. Marquez, who performed poorly in the qualifying session, did not expect to finish in P2 because his initial target was only to finish in the top 5. Le Mans was a witness to his greatness and when he passed the checkerboard flag, he couldn't control his overflowing expression. Many times he also pointed proudly at his motorbike, as if to signal that his old self had returned. 3. Disturb Pecco and Martin's romance. Two runners-up at Le Mans made Marc Marquez move up to third place in the standings with 89 points. He is 2 points behind Francesco Bagnaia, who is chasing his third title, and 40 points behind Jorge Martin, who is chasing his first title. The baby alien, which has always finished outside the top 10 in the final standings for the last 2 seasons, is now starting with Gresini Racing to try to disturb the romance of Pecco and Martin's fierce championship competition last season, and is back at each other's throats this season. The era of Pecco against Fabio Quartararo, who was busy in the 2021 and 2022 seasons, is over, moving on to the era of Bagnaia against Martin, the sprint king, who is hungry to win. However, Marquez with his Desmosedici GP23 didn't want to stay put and just watch this season's champion show. On the other hand, Marc Marquez achieved 2 podiums during the 2024 French MotoGP at Le Mans, making him soar in the standings. Now Marc Marquez is in third place in the standings with a total of 89 points. The total points are exactly the same as Enea Bastianini, only Marc Marquez got more podiums, so he got a higher ranking. The number of points is also only 40 points away from Jorge Martin, Prima Pramac Racing, who stands at the top of the standings. Also only 2 points different from Francesco Bagnaia, Ducati Lenovo team, in second place. This is what makes Marc Marquez worthy of being predicted as a candidate for the 2024 MotoGP World Champion. Facts revealed, Marc Marquez gave the signal to leave Ducati. Even though in the 5 series that have been running, the 31-year-old racer has never tasted victory. The first year with Ducati, then against Bagnaia and Martin, who was familiar with the Ducati Desmosedici GP, made him understand both how to drive and getting good lap times, especially during free practice and qualifying sessions. All weekend, I always saw Bagnaia and Martin in the top 3 time records. They are the best racers at the moment, said Marc Marquez. Of course they deserve to be used as an example. They also use the newest motorbike from Ducati, Desmosedici GP24, which is the best motorbike at the moment, he continued. I moved to Ducati with the consequence that this was the most perfect bike and I had to change a lot from Honda to Ducati, Marc added. So I have to compete more closely with them to be able to learn it directly, before I can actually be called world champion, he added. Marc Marquez has indeed learned that an extreme racing style is needed to be able to tame the Ducati Desmosedici GP23 that he is currently riding. He needs more adaptation, so he will often do time attacks with competitive time records. Now Marc Marquez is also predicted to be a candidate to join the factory team, Ducati Lenovo team, in tandem with Francesco Bagnaia. Apart from Marc Marquez, Ducati is also targeting Jorge Martin and Enea Bastianini for the factory team squad.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that. I think she's feeling me, turn it up a few degrees.